So I'd just broken up with my girlfriend, and I dated her for 5 years. And so I was forced to start dating again. And I was always awful at dating, just really bad. So I find myself in a nightclub, the Marquee Club, I think it was, in Boulder, here, late at night. And I'm sitting at the bar by myself. And all of a sudden, this girl just jumps down, like, sits down next to me and starts chatting as if we've known each other for years. And she's like cute and smart and funny. And I'm like, oh my God, this is Mrs. Wright. And we dance a little bit, and then she zooms off, and of course the night ends, and the wee hours in the morning, she's with this group of friends she had, and she yells over, she goes, hey, a group of us are going to go swimming in the Boulder Reservoir. And my only thing, I think, is like, damn it, why didn't I bring my swimming things? Which I luckily didn't say, and so I'm like, yeah. So we jump in this little car, and these people, and we're there. And we get out of the car, and it is absolutely beautiful. The Boulder Reservoir is just completely still, and the inky blackness is in front of us, and it's a stark contrast to the white sand of the beaches, and there's a full moon up in the sky, and the light just reflects down, and then it skates all the way across the surface to us, and it's like nature kind of inviting us in, and it was just breathtaking. So then somebody says, charge, and off we go. And we go down to the beach, and we run down, and then we have that little pause that people do because everybody knows what's meant to happen, but they're a little unwilling to kind of strip and then dip. And so they just hover. Now, I've been confronted by skinny dipping before, and with that, I have formulated a foolproof plan. Be first. Now, this works on a few levels, okay? So first of all, by running in, you appear to be that wild, risk-taking, brave, kind of cool guy that everybody wants to associate with. But, most importantly, you are in front of everybody. Meaning that everybody is viewing the wild, risk-taking, brave kind of guy that everybody wants to be associated from the rear, affording what I would call a plain buttock view, which is like buttocks are buttocks. They're very similar to men and women, and there's a lot less chit-chat about buttocks. I mean, there's just nowhere nearly as much, oh, marvelous pair of buttocks. It just doesn't really happen that much. Now, also, by being first, you're also in the water really quickly and deep, and so kind of basically fully clothed, albeit in a chilly, watery gown. And then you can kind of shout encouragement from your safety of your harbor, or maybe even partake in a little viewing, if that is your ilk. But first is always the best way to go. So with this in mind, I look around and I'm like, oh God, everybody has a foolproof plan. And everybody has like started getting their clothes off and they're way ahead of me. And I look, and right next to me is the woman of my dreams. And clothing is just like shedding itself from her. And me, I'm like having to yank and tug and pull everything off. And then suddenly we're naked. And off we go, down the shallow sand, neck and neck, stride for stride. We hit the shallow water with enough momentum to carry us in no time at all. But how much time? Because by now we've been running for about 10 seconds. And it appears that 10 seconds is quite a long time when you're naked. And we were still only about 7 or 8 inches of water. So I accelerate a little bit and we go charging on into it. We're now about 30 feet into the water and we're around about 8 or 9 inches of water. And then this sick feeling just sweeps over me and I've worked it out. I'm like, we are running on an inconveniently placed sandbar. Now, so as I entered into the 46th second of running naked across a sandbar with total strangers, 2 things became really clear to me. First of which was the old sentimental ballad, By the Light of the Silvery Moon, bore absolutely no relationship to tonight, okay? The moon hanging majestically, full moon, was acting more like an unforgiving halogen lamp. Needless to say, visibility was not a problem. Second, jiggling. At first, I became acutely aware of my own jiggle. And as I looked around to see if anybody was noticing, it was impossible for me not to notice other people's jiggles. Well, if I'm noticing their jiggles, they're sure to be noticing my jiggle. So still running at full speed, I started to use my hand as some kind of form of jiggle stopper. And it kind of slowed me down a little bit, but some kind of restriction was oddly comforting. So now we were basically 300 feet into the Boulder Reservoir at the grand old depth of 12 inches. Our sprint was now more of a weak jog, and as we hit 13 inches, it was good enough for me. So I just kind of came to a grinding halt and slid my humble body down into its 13 inches of coverage. Other people followed my lead. Shortly, we were all laying flat on our backs on the silt with our heads stuck up at right angles. The water was cold. The moon bright. There was no chatting. It was as if we were all contemplating the return journey. Way too much to enjoy this really special moment. So I looked across the chilled surface of the water towards my girlfriend. Our eyes met. We both shivered. She gave me a weak smile. And without a single word being spoken, we broke up.